Welcome back, everyone, for our first round of playoffs. Today, we'll be having our League of Legends team. As you can hear them in the background, they're getting ready, joining the lobby right now. We are going against Canyon Del Oro in this top 12 round of playoffs. So just give us a couple minutes and we'll get loaded into our picks and bans. Thanks for joining us.
All right, and it is your sportcaster Brian Bennett reporting in for the postseason first round game against Canyon Del Oro. They are now both teams are now doing their picks and bans, and we will see what that leads to.
So it looks like Gilbert has started off with a ban on Darius and Aatrox and the Blitzcrank. Blitz can definitely be an annoying support.
Agreed. Same with, was that Twitch? I can't tell.
Yeah, they Canyon Del Oro banned Twitch and Shen, which makes sense if they've looked at our records. Our ADC, ooh, and they take out Aphelios as well for our ADC. Our ADC is insanely good when it comes to Twitch and Aphelios.
Well, it's a good team if they've done their research. That's for sure. So it's gonna be an interesting first playoff match. You always got to prove yourself, prove you can stay in by winning, you know?
It looks like they have a Malphite for their first pick. So Malphite's a little interesting because that could definitely be a top laner or it could be their support. So we'll have to see.
And then Seraphine for Gilbert. And then Ash for the other team.
So that might definitely be their support for that Malphite. But we'll have to see. That Seraphine definitely creates a lot of advantages for Gilbert. She has, the shields and she has some stuns. So, and coming in with that Jinx for that support. So it's going to be a really strong bot lane.
And Ornn for top lane, of course, big tanky boy.
Oh my gosh, and his ult is absolutely amazing. The way that he just runs out and you can recast it so he can go out and come back in.
Definitely good for pulling off some big plays. And Syndra, huh?
Syndra for mid lane. So Syndra is definitely one of those champions that can be really, really pokey. She has like these orbs that I believe that's Syndra that she's going to throw out. So we'll have to see what Gilbert picks for their mid lane.
And another ban on Shaco.
So that's definitely a jungle ban for sure. But it looks like Gilbert has responded with another jungle ban. They banned Kayn. Kayn can be really frustrating in the jungle.
Always choose who you ban wisely. It could determine the whole game.
A ban on Fizz. That's an interesting one. That's a ban for our mid laner. I haven't seen Fizz played a whole lot this season. But Fizz can create a lot of challenges in mid lane.
For sure. It's just, pokes. Ooh, Olaf is down. Olaf is another ban who can do a couple lanes. He could do either top or mid. So that's.
And it looks like CDO ends up coming out with a Master Yi. That's definitely going to be their jungle.
Yeah, that's their jungle. He's the jungle starter. So if you use him in anything but jungle, you have to be really good.
So it looks like Gilbert just has their mid and their jungle left to pick. So we're gonna see which one they're gonna pick first. They're
Looks like
hovering
it's
over
gonna be
Zed.
Zed.
Ooh, Zed's really good. He has a really great escape where he can go in and then run back to his shadow. So he has a really great escape for that mid lane.
Great for poking and finishing up some chase sequences for sure.
So it'll be interesting to see, Gilbert pick the blue side for this game, which gave them that first pick, which is what they wanted for that Seraphine. But
Looks
it
like-
does give CDO a chance to counter pick.
Ooh, looks like Zac for jungle, right? Zac's jungle.
Yes, and that Zac.
The Zac jungles is a
Amari.
big thing this season.
Amari is so good with that Zac as a jungle, so
I'm
that's
surprised.
going to be really
Yeah, I'm
fun.
surprised they didn't ban Zac.
I
instead.
agree. I'm very surprised that Zac was still up, so we'll definitely have to see how that game goes out. Okay, so it looks like that Malphite was for top lane. Looks like they're going to go with a Sona down in support.
So who's gonna be their jungler then?
So their jungle is still going to be Master Yi. It's a Malphite
yeah.
that ends up playing top
I
lane.
meant the mid. I meant the mid lane.
Oh yeah, mid's gonna be that Syndra. So that's gonna create a lot of opportunities for Gilbert. They have a lot of great stuns. You know, the
Right.
Ornn, he has a stun. The Zac has a stun. Seraphine has a stun. Jinx has the rockets that go really, really far across map. So it's gonna be a good time for this game for sure.
One thing about Gilbert is that they always pick characters that you can tell which lane they go in. And a lot of teams play characters that usually can go on several lanes, for
That's
sure.
very true. That is very, very true. There's a few champions that I think Gilbert plays from time to time that might be a little deceiving about where they go in, but
Right. But mainly it's pretty straightforward. Ornn top, Zac jungle, Jinx and Seraphine on bot, and Zed in mid. Pretty straightforward stuff.
so if you are new to League of Legends, the Riot, the creator of League of Legends, automatically put in a 3-minute spectator delay. So this allows us to be able to watch the entire game from both perspectives. We are able to see the entire map from both the opponent and our Gilbert side. But because it provides us with a lot of information, we are on a delay so that we can't give away any information. So the teams have already loaded into the map and they're moving through their lanes, and we'll get to see what they're doing in just about 2 minutes. So hang on just for those 2 minutes and we'll be right back.
And here we are in the game. Both teams picking out their starting items and then gonna get in their lanes. Barrier has dropped and they are on their way. Starting items are a very important thing because they can help you, in the beginning of the game. It looks like Gilbert is camping on that bottom river there.
They are planning what's called an invade. So this is when the whole team, instead of going to their usual startups, will choose to travel together into the enemy jungle to try to catch somebody out. So they went straight to the other team's blue buff, which is going to be a jungle monster that's going to pop up in just a little bit. Trying to see if they could catch out CDO, but it looks like CDO was not starting blue, so they are already spread out. Gilbert's still traveling kind of as a pack, just wanting to see where everybody's at. And just kind of see Canyon Del Oro is just in their spots, waiting for minions.
Yeah. High risk, high reward.
It can be if they catch the team out, because Canyon Del Oro is starting on their red side, as you can see down here in the mini map. Yi is at the red bot, the red side of the map, so that's why Gilbert wasn't able to capitalize.
They probably were expecting it.
It's very possible.
Yeah. And we're off to the races with minions out and CS starting for both teams. Alright. What do we have here? Just some general starting stuff. Wearing down the minions, doing a few pokes here and there. Just trying to get your level up and do some damage.
This is the part of the game where everyone's just focused on their own specific lane. Really wanting to, prioritize those minions, get as much gold as they can, as much experience early game. As you level up your character, your champion, you start all at level 1, and as you progress, it's all about going 2 and going up from there. There's a total of 18 levels, but at level 6 is when you get your final ultimate ability. And at this point, it's about trying to get to 6 before your opponent.
Agreed, because if you get to 6 before your opponent and use it well, then you can completely clear their lane and get some early damage and gold off the towers from the plating. Very useful because items and gold are items are very useful in the game. They can increase your attack, your defense, speed, killing power, everything.
It looks like Gilbert is starting off pretty aggressive, really putting on that pressure. They're a little bit ahead, not significantly, but enough that they're definitely putting some pressure on CDO.
Agreed, especially in the top lane. That Ornn is one of the main characters that our players use, for sure, and knows how to play him really well. But looks like mid lane for Gilbert is a bit lower on health, but that's not too bad, so yeah, just pretty even starting gameplay. Anything can happen in the beginning, but mostly it's just some neutral stuff. CS, gaining levels, jungles clearing camps and leveling up as well. But then, soon, will a dragon spawn. And then, when that happens, you tend to want to get those bigger monsters because they get you gold, levels, buffs, and generally good for your game.
So a lot of those abilities, those jungle monsters, specifically the dragon, can give you buffs for your entire team, which is going to be something that in the late game can really make a difference. Early dragon doesn't always make a ton of difference, but it starts to get you closer to Soul, into Elder.
Hold up, we got some jungle attack fighting going on, and Ornn trying to come down to intercept, but it is not successful. But on the top river, however, there's also all the void creatures, like void grubs and whatnot. Those are more helpful for taking towers. Especially,
Definitely.
Yeah, void grubs, yeah.
And in that pit, you get different things throughout the game. So at the beginning of the game, you get grubs, which can help you take down towers. But then the second monster is
the Baron. No, not Baron.
not Baron. Harold.
Harold, yeah.
I always forget.
I always
Harold's
forget,
name. I always try to say Sally because I know that's the name that they use for it. But Harold can help you also take down towers in a sense. You get one that you get to essentially release whenever you want, and it's on a timer. So you don't want to release it too early. It will charge up, and it will help you take out 1 or 2 towers, depending on how long it stays up.
It charges and deals a ton of damage to the towers, but does damage itself in the process, so it can do a lot of damage to a tower, but still be taken down before
And
it
it
takes
is on
one
a
down.
timer, so you
Yeah.
want to make sure you use it before that timer runs out. And then
Exactly.
end game, we get Baron. Baron is a significantly bigger monster that not only gives a power up to your team, but also to the minions around your team
Right.
to really help you push down lane. So
However, you do got to be careful when you use it, because if you die, then you pass the buff on to whoever killed you.
correct. So lots of opportunities early game that can make a huge difference late game. Right now, you can see everyone's still just focusing in their lanes. Jungle's always still looking for an opportunity for a gank. As we saw, Yi was starting to creep up the top lane. See if maybe they could try to surprise Gilbert, but it doesn't look like they were able to. But we can see both junglers are starting to head up there to that grub pit because void grubs are up.
Yep, both Dragon and Grubs are up, so looks like they're trying to trap Ornn, but he does manage to dash away a little bit, which is good.
Zac is coming up, and it looks like Zed is right behind him, while we also have a bot
he
in the bot
casted,
lane.
he casted his ultimate, but it doesn't seem it did much. He must have missed.
So good fight in top lane. Looks like Ornn is in a little bit of trouble. He has to flash out. Malphite is there, but the Zed was ready there to support, and Ornn does go down with first blood.
It is a trade, though.
Yes, they are able to get. So they are focusing on that Syndra now. See if they're going to be able to chase her down.
Unfortunately, no, but she is pretty low and will have to back.
This does create an opportunity. I think Zac is going to be able to go for those grubs, and he does. So even though we lost Ornn in that fight, Gilbert was able to put up enough pressure to push Canyon Del Oro back so that Zed and Zac can go ahead and take those void grubs.
And now, Gilbert is up quite a bit in gold, actually, 1.8-ish K. And, of course, gold difference, it just shows, like, how much each team gold has, but more gold, the better items.
I think during that whole time, we also missed a fight that was in the bot lane. It looks like Jinx was able to take out Ashe, which is huge. You want those early kills to go on your ADC, which is your, attack damage carry. So bot lane's really doing a great job putting that pressure.
And it looks like there's a bit of a level difference on top lane, but it shouldn't be too bad as long as, he just keeps grinding down the levels.
Well, Ornn did get a little bit behind. I think maybe that kill got him a tiny little bit behind. I don't think he's that far off from leveling up to 7. But when you look at their CS, Ornn is definitely ahead.
Agreed. And still no one is going for Dragon yet, so we'll see where that leads.
All right, Seraphine did a good job of putting quite a bit of vision. Well, there was a little bit more, but I think one of them just died. So Seraphine did put vision in that pit. So Gilbert will know if Canyon Del Oro tries to get in there. Looks like Zac just went back to reset, buy some items, and is coming back.
And Ornn did level up and is putting on the pressure now, and is able to make Malphite run away a bit. Probably back, but maybe stay because he is backing.
Gilbert is showing a lot of great restraint and really good discipline in not chasing those kills. They are pushing Canyon Del Oro back, which is forcing them to get a little bit behind on their CS, behind on their experience, and being patient to find those kills. Zed just got that kill on the Syndra.
However, he did get a bit greedy.
Yeah, Master Yi was right there around the corner. I don't think he was ready for that. But again, I think he'll still be able to recover.
And yeah. So just some more usual stuff. Minions.
Oh, looks like we have a pause in the game. We missed that in the live. I didn't hear the team talking about it too much. It looks like Jinx got disconnected for a minute, so they paused it. Game crashed for somebody. I don't remember hearing the team say anything here in the lab, so I don't think there was too long of a pause. But it's a really nice feature that Riot has, that if something does happen, you are able to pause and be able to come right back.
Right. Just keep the spectator, and plus it keeps the spectator delay, so that way there's no cheating.
What are we doing?
All right, gameplay has resumed. Or no, not yet. It says it will, but it looks like it's still
yes.
loading.
It does a countdown for them when the game is about to resume. So that everybody kind of gets ready for it to come back. So Hopefully we don't freeze, because unfortunately sometimes it bugs out the spectator view. So fingers crossed that it comes back. There we go.
Perfecto. We might be a few more. We might be more behind than a few minutes now because of the pause, but so far so good. Our bottom lane is looking very strong with 2 and 1 levels over their other bottom lane, so that's very
The Seraphine
good.
has done a phenomenal job poking out that bot lane, and it's really made it hard for them to farm. There we go.
Just a little lag on our end,
It's like
folks.
our client's being a little finicky today.
Nothing too serious, though. Our team will still win nonetheless.
Looks
on
like they
wood.
got a
Knock
play
on
off
wood.
of that tower, which is really good for bot lane again, keeping up that pressure.
And more money.
Still looking for those advantages. Dragon has still not been touched, so that's pretty interesting that both teams are showing some restraint and waiting on that.
Yeah. The next dragon will spawn.
Oh, it doesn't look like Zed's aware that he was right there. And he does have to.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, he just used his escape because his flash wasn't up yet. But he's able to escape pretty quickly. He is by that bot lane. Looks like he might be trying to get a yank, but Gilbert knows that he's there, so they back up to a safe distance.
Good vision is always important to prevent junglers from getting the drop on you.
For that specific reason, he almost surprised Zed, but was unable to really capitalize on it, so he decided to try to go bot lane, but lane has done a good job of keeping up that vision so that they don't get surprised by anybody.
Agreed. And Gilbert is up in gold by a good amount now, which is good, you know. Items. There's so many parts of the game that just change it ever so slightly to your advantage that it's pretty impressive that everyone can keep track of them all. Dragon, grubs, items, like movement speed, everything.
And there's so many things that could happen so very quickly. So it is about having that discipline and that patience to wait for the right plays and to look for the opportunities and take advantage of them.
Agreed. Just more pokes, more CSing, more damage.
Yeah, everyone's definitely playing safe. Zach is definitely in that top lane again. Looks like they're going for grubs.
More touch of the void, which is the damage on tower buff called. And plus, if you get 4 grubs, you can summon 2, like little mini grubs.
Looks like they're gonna be able to get all 6, because Yi is unaware that they are there. But Yi is down at Dragon, so they might be doing a trade where Gilbert got grubs and CDO is gonna go for Dragon.
However, it's a bit of a lopsided trade because Gilbert has already gotten 2 grubs, and this will be the first dragon.
Right, so it does look like Canyon Del Oro is able to get, and looks like we have an ult in the top lane.
Agreed, but it's a 3v2.
Looks like bot lane got a little bit caught out there.
And Zach is there.
Does go in to try to help clean up, and he is able to get 1 kill. Zed is there as well. They're gonna try to help clean up.
That's 2 kills for Zed. Hold on, 3 kills.
I go, and he goes down.
But
No, it's Yi.
That's Yi.
Oh, that Yi is starting to get a little bit bad, which could create a bit of a problem. They're gonna have to be very careful with that.
Yeah,
Yi.
definitely. You definitely don't want to feed junglers because then they'll just run to your lane and gank you without a care in the world. And it's not fun when anyone on the enemy team is snowballing you at all.
Exactly, and he's not really getting out of control. He is 5-0. Zed is 5-2 as well. So that's definitely another character you don't want to feed. So they both have a character that's starting to get fed a little bit. It just means you've got to start to be careful and make sure that if you're going to die again, that kill does not go on the Yi.
Yeah, and due to a bunch of those kills, the gold gap has closed a bit, but still Gilbert has the advantage. I know, I'm obsessing over gold, but items are important.
Gold is a good indicator, and that's one of the things that's crazy about this game is that you can't just truly look at the kill score. Right now we're at 6-6. That's not necessarily a deciding factor on who's winning. Gold, even on its own, isn't a deciding factor on who's winning. Dragons isn't a deciding factor.
That was a nice little kill on the bottom there.
really great pressure, really great teamwork by those two bot laners.
Agreed. Those are some of the two most basic bot lane characters, but they work, and it looks like they're gonna push for it. And
Looks like they're going to try to get a dive on that Ashe, and they are going to get it.
although careful, the tower almost executed,
Yes,
but they took the first tower, so that's that.
exactly. It is a little unfortunate the kill went on the Seraphine. You normally want your kills on your ADC, but it's great. Our ADC is so far ahead. His CS is 145 to 64. It looks like they're able to get a little bit more.
Ooh, they took down Yi. That's good, so that way he doesn't.
The Yi did get another kill, but it does look like they got that shutdown gold, which is huge.
Yep. And now they're up by 3k gold.
And Zed just comes in and completely demolishes that Syndra.
Oh well, but now Gilbert's up 10-7 for kills and
That was a great set of
5K
plays by
gold.
Gilbert. They capitalized on every single objective that was on the map. They took down a tower, they got a bunch of kills. Looks like mid tower is getting pushed up by minions. So Gilbert's really doing a great job keeping up with this.
Yep. And everyone's playing extra hard. It is playoffs after all.
And they are pinning that, Rift Herald is about to come up.
Yep. Rift Herald, again, we discussed that earlier.
And Cloud Drake. So they are making sure that everyone's aware that Rift Herald's up in 30 seconds. While Drake still has about a minute and a half left.
All right. So, if I'm correct, if they win this best of 2 games, don't they have another right after?
No. So after today, the next game will be on Thursday. Because League of Legends is such a long game to play, this is the only game that is not played as a double. Smash tomorrow, we do have a doubleheader. Then if we win the first game at 4, we'll play again at 5. But for League of Legends, the next round is on Thursday.
Which does make sense. Each game could take 30 minutes to an hour.
Or
so if we did
longer.
back-to-back games
Yes,
and
but
they
it's
went
best
to
of 3. If you play all 3 games, it's a long time. But that top lane, they just pushed up that tower. They have a great gank by Zach coming in and doing a dive.
But Yi is
G's got a little cut out by that Yi. But it looks like Gilbert is taking that Rift Herald.
yeah. But I mean, just imagine being stuck in like back-to-back games of 45 minutes to an hour for 6 games.
That would be crazy.
That would be
So Gilbert's gonna have to be
so
really careful with that vision. That Zed once again got caught out by that Yi. Especially when you're playing up against a Yi, you cannot be face checking those bushes.
Yeah, he one of his attacks allows him to do a bunch of damage without taking damage himself because he goes into the enemy and does a bunch of little cuts. So his first attack usually leads with that, and yeah.
So it does look like Canyon Del Oro is going to take advantage of the fact that they did get the Zed. They pushed everyone back, and they're going to try to take that second dragon. And it looks like they're going to be able to get it completely uncontested.
Yeah.
And they do.
They took that dragon town quite quickly.
Yeah, so now they're heading back, but they do have to be careful because in that top lane, Ornn is pushing up to that second tower.
Agreed. You don't want any weaknesses in any of your lanes because one good push with all your characters or because you let them wear it down and it's game over.
Right, and that Ornn is super tanky, so looks like he is going to be able to get away.
That's a close one. You definitely don't want to lose a big boy like that.
It was really close. And remembering Zach does still have that Rift Herald, so it'll be interesting to see where they release Rift Herald and see what kind of towers they're going to be able to get from it.
Agreed. Oh boy.
So right now, everyone's just clearing camps, and as you can see, Gilbert's starting to gather down in that bot lane a little bit. Potentially clearing some camps, maybe just trying to push mid.
Yeah, pushing mid's the easiest because it takes the shortest amount of distance to get there.
And they've already taken down the first tower in the other 2 lanes.
Oh,
so
and
it
they've
makes
summoned
sense.
Rift Herald.
There we go. So
And
really
they're
take
gonna
out that
take
mid
the tower.
lane.
That's first tower done.
And because they have all those grubs, they have so much protection, and it looks like Rift is going to get a second charge on here. And he does. And they take
That's
half
big.
life that tower. That is amazing.
That's big, big stuff
So
right
in
there.
that first run, Gilbert's able to take both of those towers, which starts a fight, and they
This
take
is
down
an
the
all
Syndra.
in. That's like 2-3 kills right there.
The Jinx takes out the Yi.
Ornn is fighting in his top lane
Malphite,
against
and they take out
Malphite.
another tower as they go into
They got
another
the
fight.
inhibitor. No, they got the tower. Now they're going for
Yeah, they're
inhibitor.
chasing down that Sona while some of them are focusing that inhib. The only one that is still up is that Malphite, but he is incredibly low. He is not going to be able to fight. Looks like Ornn has joined the fight, and the whole team with their
Dang.
massive
Oh
group
my
of grubs taking
And
down
minions.
those
They got some
towers.
minions too. That's
Taking down the
game.
Nexus.
Oh my god, that went.
Perfect example how Gilbert was not able to get any dragons, but still, because of their CS, because of their teamwork, they're up on items on almost every single champion, and they're able to take it out with that win.
Honestly, I just think the Void Pit group, like the Grubs, the Herald, Nasher, are more important because they take tower, and that's the main goal of the game, not killing champions.
Absolutely. So give us just a few minutes, and we'll be right back with game 2. So like test, test, test.
Click on the settings. And we're back, and the first ban is in. Who was that?
So that was, we flipped sides. So that was Canyon Del Oro with the first ban. Looks like they're still sticking with that Athelios and Shen ban. In the first game, they banned the Twitch. So, nope, we still come in with the exact same set of bans, the Twitch, the Athelios, and the Shen. Definitely not wanting to leave up those for our ADC or for our top laner. Gilbert, looks like they stuck with the same bans as well. That Aatrox, Darius, and Blitzcrank. And CDO is going to stick with that Malphite, and we're assuming that's probably going to be the top lane again. Alright, and Gilbert is still going to pick that Seraphine, and they get their second pick coming in right now. And it looks like they're going to go with Ornn. So we're going to have a similar matchup in that top lane, that Malphite versus the Ornn. Looks like they second pick their support, which is interesting because last game they waited until the end, but they are going to change their mid laner. They're going to go with Lissandra instead of that Syndra. Because they have already picked their mid laner, it does give Gilbert an opportunity to maybe counter pick that Lissandra. At least I think Lissandra's going to be mid lane. So let's see. Gilbert is picking. And they're going to go with that Orianna in the mid lane. And looks like we're coming in with some bans on the Gilbert side. And they're going to stick with that Kayn band.
Yes. So some of the same characters as last time. Seraphine, Ornn, Malphite, Sona. But
so it looks like they are going to stick with that Shaco ban. And we'll have to see what is the final ban from CDO. All right, so Gilbert leaves that Yi up, which is interesting because it was starting to get a little out of control, but it looks like Gilbert thinks that they're going to be able to handle it.
Ooh, they banned Jinx this time.
Oh, so definitely targeting that ADC, making sure that he does not get any of his top champs.
I mean, who else does the team play? Mel for ADC?
He has played some Mel. He also does play Caitlyn and Ashe, and
it's all the basics, kind of the more known ones.
And he's gonna go with Misfortune.
That works.
A great choice.
So,
her ultimate is absolutely insane.
Oh yeah, it really is, and it's big area too. So Orianna will be mid then?
Yes, Orianna will be a mid laner. So coming in with the last pick, looks like CDO still needs to pick their jungle. And we still have to pick our jungle, so we'll see what CDO is going to go with.
Master Yi, it looks like again.
Yep, so they're going to stick with that Master Yi, and I would assume Gilbert's going to stick with that Zac.
Yeah, they did not ban Zac, so there's no reason not to use him. Use what works.
They're waiting, so we'll see. The team is discussing to see, because one of the things that Gilbert really works on is to make sure that we can find the champions that work well together.
Ooh, that's right. They did not ban Warwick, so Warwick is an option. Warwick is overpowered in a nutshell, so I'm surprised he wasn't banned at all. But I guess it is important to ban characters that your enemies are really good at.
Yes, and it looks like CDO really focused that ADC ban. They took 3 of their 5 bans to really focus that ADC first, which prevents them from banning other stuff in other lanes. They banned 1 top laner, 1 jungle, and the rest were focused on the ADC. So, as we wait, the team will load in about 15 seconds, and then as a reminder, we will be on our spectator delay. So just hang out with us. We did switch sides, so one of the rules in our competition, whoever is the home team chooses which side they want for the first game. Then for the second game, the losing team gets to choose. So CDO did pick that they wanted the blue side this round, so just realize that as we switch, Gilbert will be on the top side and CDO will be on the bottom.
We will we'll see if the enemy team doesn't invade or our team doesn't invade.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very, very interesting. So, give us just a couple minutes and we will be right back.
All right, and the game is loading in, and just the usual beginning stuff. Load in, grab some items, and get ready to dash out and do your beginning stuff.
It will be interesting to see if any team attempts an invade. Looks like um, Gilbert does like to do invades, to be honest. They always like to see if they can find that opportunity early on. They are grouped up, so I think they're going to try again.
But are they going to invade blue? Looks like it. So they're going to do the same invade this time.
But it looks like they're headed to red, which makes sense because last time, and that's where you see that Lysandra, last time he started with red, so it's a good assumption that they thought, hey, maybe he'll start red again.
Nope. And they managed to chase him out and plant some vision down.
They did. They were able to push back the Lysandra. It's interesting. He's just up in Top River, so I'm not sure exactly what he's doing.
Maybe.
He's changing his strategy and going for blue this time. Who knows?
It is very interesting, and minions have now spawned, so respective laners will be headed to their lanes and starting the CS.
Yes, and they did get that deep ward in there. It looks like CDO did take the opportunity and put some extra wards in that top river jungle so that they're also aware of what's potentially going on. Oriana's trying to push back and see if Yi is there in that blue. So that's interesting that Oriana pushed that far up. Put some vision down and is now headed back to lane.
Yep, and the CS has started. It's just going to be some boring old pokes and money gaining from here. But that's the start of the game. So far, Gilbert has good CS. They do a lot of CS training, that's for sure.
Yes, we do. It's important in any sport that you play that you always focus on the fundamentals and that you focus on even the smallest of skills because it can make a difference in a competitive match.
Especially with gold.
So right now, everyone's just looking for opportunities
Ooh,
to put
is that
things
an early
out.
kill? Oh my
Ooh,
god, that's an
nice.
early kill.
We do get first blood for Gilbert. It does go to that Seraphine, which of course we don't like to see early
In
game.
less than 3 minutes.
But it's a great way for them to push up because they do force them back. Ash is going to have to play a lot safer without their support. And that support's missing out on experience as they come back to lane.
Yep. Although they do come back quickly, it is early game. Is it based on levels or game time for coming back?
I'm actually not 100% sure. I want to say that it's based on your level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Of what your timer is, because later on in the game, when you die, your timer's
hold up.
significantly longer.
Yi versus Warwick, and Warwick has done it. That's 2 kills at 3 minutes. That's some early good stuff right there.
Yes, and that is super good that they were able to get that Yi, because that's gonna put them a little bit behind. So it's gonna flip those roles a little bit to hopefully give Gilbert an advantage.
Yeah, especially making sure the Yi falls behind, because being a jungler, it takes a lot of good timing to get your levels up, because if you hesitate, then you fall behind. It's harder to get levels as a jungler, so that's pretty good for Gilbert that they took the Yi.
Yeah, and I think they're having that same strategy where they're starting off pretty aggressive, really pushing those laners as far back as they can, chunking them down, poking them out, forcing them to back. Even if they don't always get the kills, denying them that experience is always huge.
Yeah. So it's just the fundamentals as always. They practice their aggression so that way they don't push too far and accidentally execute themselves on tower.
Exactly, because it is a very delicate balance of when you find the opportunities, like right now where this Ornn is pushing up and really putting on that pressure, while at the same time when to show restraint. And even if you see your opponent with a sliver of life, sometimes you need to just back off.
And it looks like they're going to gank and take the 3rd kill all before 5 minutes. I mean, this is the most aggressive playing I've seen Gilbert have so far.
That was a little bit risky by that Warwick. He was taking on some tower shots, and looks like we have another big aggression, and that Misfortune flashes in to get the kill.
4 kills before 5 minutes. This is going great for Gilbert so far. They're up by 3k gold at the beginning. That's just insane. Gold, money, items.
So it's interesting right now. Warwick and you were fighting right next to each other. Warwick was in the pit for his red buff, while Yi was getting what are the rocks called? I always forget.
Elementals? They're probably called elementals.
I don't even know. I call them the rocks. I know they have a name. But it was just funny because they were right next to each other, and I don't think they realized that they were right next to each other.
I mean, it's just kind of like a surprise thing, you know?
Right.
You never expect to see them where they are.
Yeah, but that's interesting. The Yi was invading our jungle and taking the camps from that Warwick, which is a great way for the Yi to try to fight back. Because if he takes Warwick's camps, and then goes and takes his own, Warwick, once he comes back, he doesn't have all the camps that he needs to level
Just
up.
to make up the fact that Yi died, you know. Like I said, it's hard for jungle to gain levels, so it's a delicate balance.
It does look like Warwick is up at those grubs and is going to start taking those for Gilbert. Yi is nowhere near. It doesn't look like CDO had any vision in that pit, so they have no idea that Gilbert's taking them.
Yep. Or maybe they want to trade it, who knows? But yeah, don't see any wards down, so yeah.
Orianna is pushing in that mid lane. Looks like she is taking some tower shots.
Grubbed her down, and it looks like they're going to get another kill. The enemy team seems to be doing a not so good job, because like you saw how that one character pushed up too far and tried to poke with no minions with her. So that did not turn out so well.
Yeah, I think CDO's having a hard time matching Gilbert's aggression, because they are being very aggressive in every single lane. Looks like Warwick is laying down some vision, pinging down for his bot lane. They have Prio in bot lane, and they're going to go for Dragon.
Yep, and it looks like bot lane's reinforcing doubly. But never mind. Yi was with them, but now they're not. And it looks like they're going for Dragon, so they will be taking that, because by the time anyone else gets there, it's going to be too late.
And they have cleared all the vision, and they have their own vision all around their pit. So Gilbert definitely paying a lot more attention to that bot side map than they did in the first game to make sure that they're securing every objective. They took out Grubs early, and now they have taken the first dragon.
Although I do focus on gold a lot, vision is also, like I said, super important. It allows you to see where your enemies are, and also there's the teleport ability where it teleports to wherever you have like a vision or a minion, if I'm correct.
Yeah. So those are all summoners. They have incredibly long cooldowns. That's your flash, your heal, your ignite, your exhaust, all those.
Those abilities don't come in play often, but when they do, they change the game or help you.
Exactly. You want to be very smart about when you use them. Looks like in the top lane we had a little bit of a gank. Lissandra went up, tried to help that Malphite, but Ornn was able to get away for sure. In the bot lane we have another fight that was going on. That Ashe got chunked down way low.
And trying to go for that kill.
That restraint right there, that Misfortune was about to try to go for that kill. But they are both extremely low in mana. They're not going to be able to have their abilities because they don't have mana, even though they're full health. Just a smart move for them to just back.
Yeah, they haven't backed. They haven't died or backed yet, so they don't have any mana increasing items.
Exactly. So they get to spend their gold, get some extra items, which means that they'll be even stronger when they come back. Right now, both Warwick, Misfortune, and Seraphine, they all have shutdown gold, which is great for the team.
Yep, but back to the gold, they're up by they're up by 5K now. I mean, that's a huge gold difference because a lot of the items are several thousand worth.
Especially for the ADC. ADC is probably one of the ones that has the most expensive items in the game. So it's really important that ADC is able to get ahead, and Gilbert's definitely doing that.
Yep. Looks like nothing interesting is happening except Warwick's in mid lane.
Yeah, Gilbert took all those objectives really, really fast. The next objective coming up is in 30 seconds, which is, I believe, one of the red buffs is about to come up. On the Gilbert side, we do have Grubs coming up again in 45 seconds.
He gets the gank and is able to escape the tower, but with a bit of damage on him.
That's all right. He dove in, and there we have an ult from Misfortune. Looks like the Ashe is barely able to escape with just a sliver of life left. But again, it's one of those situations where they're gonna force her to back.
That looks like an ult from Ornn and a
gank from Warwick to secure the kill.
9-0 in kills at 10 minutes.
That is fantastic, and it does look like Misfortune was able to get the kill on the Ashe. I'm not 100% sure what happened and how they were able to secure that. But it looks like Yi is in that bot lane. Potentially trying to get a gank, but Gilbert is 100% aware that Yi is there.
Yep, vision. And Grubs are up, so we'll see what pits are taken and what order.
Looks like Gilbert is pinging that Yi did get some vision. I think he got Scuttle. So Scuttle is a little crab that travels in the river, and if you get it, it gives you kind of permanent vision for a little while.
Yeah,
they're
on the
in
river.
front of the pit. There's one on the top side, one on the bottom side. So I do think Master Yi got Scuttle for bot lane, but it looks like Gilbert is all moving up as a group to take out Grubs in that top lane.
Yeah. For jungler, taking Scuttle is pretty nice because you get free vision and you get some gold and XP from killing it because it's just a normal monster.
And it looks like Gilbert has all 6 Grubs again, which we saw in that first game, is going to make a huge difference in taking those towers because they cause a lot of damage and you have like a whole little army of things helping you fight it.
You could push up without any minions and it's great. Or you could have an offensive and it's just a huge offensive.
Because if you don't have minions, the tower is going to start attacking you. But if you have Grubs, they act like minions. So the tower's not going to aggro on you because you have the Grubs there.
Oh, hold up. Ooh, that's close to Misfortune dying, but she is in mid lane for some reason instead of her bot.
Oh, that was so close to get that Lissandra.
The thing is with Misfortune Ultimate is that you can sometimes escape it without dying, but taking a lot of damage.
Yes, because Misfortune's ult, even though it has a cone and it's very powerful, you cannot move. If Misfortune moves, her ultimate is canceled.
And you don't want that.
Exactly. So when you are fighting against the Misfortune, you just have to move outside of that cone radius and you'll be able to dodge her abilities.
Yep. What?
So CDL is doing a good job as far as like trying to escape with just those slivers of life. It just makes it so hard because you know you have to stay in lane, you need the experience, while at the same time it's a risk.
Oh
and
my gosh.
that's the risk exactly that we're talking about. That Ashe should have backed. They did not have enough life to really be sustainable, and because Gilbert knew that, Warwick was able to gank.
Yeah, and looks like we're gonna get a.
They're gonna catch that yeet, and as you can hear, we've got some commotion in the lab, and we'll find out what happened in 2.5 minutes.
Seriously, I'm trying to peek ahead to see what happened, but
I know, it's so hard. I try not to peek and see what's going on ahead of us so that we stay in the moment of what we're seeing.
I know, but I just want to know what's going on.
I know. So it looks like Seraphine is able to take on that tower, and she gets another kill. Seraphine is down to 3-0. Has 300 shutdown gold. That's rare to see that on a support, in my opinion.
Gilbert is up 10k gold. What is this difference?
Gilbert is doing a phenomenal job in this game of really putting on the pressure and denying CDO of every objective across the map.
I don't want to jinx it, but I kind of want to say it's fair to say that they might win this. Like, this is a total snowball
But here's the
game.
thing. Anytime that you're playing this game, all it takes is just a couple missteps, a couple bad fights, one super bad team fight, and it can really turn the table, which is why that discipline is so important. You can't allow yourself to get ahead of yourself no matter what the score looks like, because the game's not over until that Nexus goes down.
That is true, because your defending towers can come back up.
Exactly.
In your Nexus area.
Yes, not the other ones. The other ones will revive, thank goodness.
Oh, hold
Looks
up.
like we have another team fight, and Master Yi does go down, and looks like they're trying to get, and they do. They get them out fight.
16 kills before 15 minutes. They're up 13k
And it's not just the time difference. It's also the fact that they have denied CDO of a single kill in this game. That is very rare to see.
That is hard to see, especially when you're in championship level teams. The playoff postseason teams that made it here with good records.
So
8-2.
looks like Gilbert's taken down that top lane inner tower, and they are taking down that second tower in mid lane. Again, really doing a great job together of focusing the team together, and again, that restraint. They took a tower and they're backing. I missed it. Somehow we got the second dragon as well.
Yeah, I saw that. They got it way back, but
So it looks like Warwick's taking on some other fights. He gets stunned. He is able to escape with just a fraction of his life there.
they have come close to dying, but they have not died yet.
Yes, they've done a good job of that. And in 30 seconds, we have Rift Herald that's going to be spawning. About a minute and a half for the next red buff. Dragon's another 2.5 minutes away. So that Rift Herald is probably going to be the next play.
Alright, anyway. But 17 kills, and this is going extremely well.
So it looks like Gilbert is setting up for that Rift Herald. They're scanning to see if CDO has any vision, and they are just waiting in that bush. They are trying to catch out CDO. But Ashe, one of her abilities is that she can send out this little bird that gives her vision, and she sent it right down the path, so they know that Gilbert is there, so they went ahead and take it.
Yep.
And they have Rift Herald, and they're going to move down, potentially to set up for Dragon.
Or maybe push mid. Looks like they're going to push mid and take a
Oh,
few
that
kills.
was a great
That's 2
team
kills.
fight.
Hold on. 3 kills. 4 kills.
4. Looks like Master Yi is the only one that's still alive. He's trying to go in.
Why would he do that? That is the dumbest.
Seraphine was low, so he was trying to take out that Seraphine, but Gilbert does get the
That's
ace.
fair, but the whole team was there, and they do have some levels up.
Yes, so that is an ace. They're able to release Rift Herald to take out that inside tower. And oh my gosh, all those grubs going for that inhib.
Oh my god, there's so many of them.
Yeah. CDO still has 3 teammates that are still trying to come up,
This
and
is
it
an
looks like
avalanche.
ults on the team, and they're gonna try to push.
Ooh, almost got a kill there. But no, there's no kills
So Seraphine
whatsoever.
looks like she is going to back. She is not going to take any chances to give CDO any kills. I think the team may have wanted to keep this an
a
O
massacre
game.
out here. Oh my gosh.
So they are being saved. They're pulling back a little bit.
But they are going to take
focusing on the
inhib
inhibs.
first. Yeah,
Yes.
you always want to get your super minions up.
And again, this goes back to that discipline of taking their time, of not overextending, not pushing where they don't need to. Oriana's in that bot lane, still working on that tower while the rest of the team reset and is coming back down mid lane.
Yep.
And the advantage of taking out the extra inhibs, when you lose an inhib, it releases these super minions. It takes a lot longer to fight. So CDO is now going to have to deal with the super minions in 2 of their lanes that are going to start to invade their nexus. As Gilbert, looks like they're setting up for that next dragon. Let's see. Yep, they are taking out that 3rd dragon. And then I would assume they're going to push that mid lane.
Just look at the bounties on everything for CDO.
Yeah, if they've got any objectives, it'd be a huge boost in gold. But unfortunately, when you get that pushed up, it makes it really hard to recover because you have to protect your base while at the same time you're trying to push up. You can't get to your jungle. It makes it a lot harder, and Gilbert is going to make it harder because they're pushing bot lane. They're going to push that inhib before they get to that nexus.
I have a bad feeling that this is the end of this round.
This is going to more than likely be the end of the game as they take out that last tower. We get an ult from Ornn.
Yep, that's game.
And there you have all of Gilbert with all the grabs.
They win the first round of the championships.
They do, and we move on. So great job to both schools for obviously making it to playoffs. So great job to CDO and Gilbert moving on to the quarterfinals next Thursday. Not next Thursday, in 2 days.
Thursday.
Yes, this Thursday. So we encourage you to come back and join us. We will be facing off against Brophy. Super excited for that matchup. So make sure that you come back and join us Thursday 4 o'clock for our quarterfinals of playoffs. Thanks, everyone.